Hello, my name is Keenan Cortez. It's my honor to serve as mayor of Joplin. This is a special community update message in addition to our normal monthly update. Today, the State Auditor's Office has released their audit report, which was requested by citizens through a petition process. This report shows their findings and the recommendations based on a thorough review of City of Joplin's performance in the fiscal year which ended October 31st, 2023. They conducted this audit throughout 2024 and have now released their report in 2025. First off, on behalf of the City Council and City staff, I want to thank the State Auditor, Scott Fitzpatrick, and his team for their extensive work on this audit. We always welcome audits because they give us an independent review of our transactions, processes, and policies, which usually result in opportunities to improve. The city works diligently and strives to continuously improve operations in order to be a good steward of your taxpayer resources. This was a very thorough review involving thousands of labor hours and hundreds of thousands of records. So, we appreciate the auditor's hard work and the recommendations they have provided. While the city undergoes many different types of audits each year, from the annual financial audit to performance and financial reviews of grant programs, the purpose of the state audit is to perform a comprehensive review of the entire organization to help ensure the proper use of the public funds and to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of government agencies. State audits examine financial accountability, waste, opportunities for fraud, and whether government organizations and programs are achieving their purpose while operating economically and efficiently. This organization is an independent watchdog agency charged with protecting taxpayer dollars from waste, fraud, and abuse. Typically, audits have some findings which result in recommendations to improve. While audits make recommendations for improvement in identified areas, they don't provide a listing of the many areas already operating effectively and efficiently. During this audit, the State Auditor's Office reviewed all financial policies and functions, in addition to various city departments and component units, operational processes, transaction, and practices. The city is pleased the state audit verified that our transactions, policies, and processes mostly hold up to the best practices, with some areas requiring simple adjustments to align with the auditor's recommendations. Audits help us to improve our local government and serve the public better, and the city has already implemented changes based on the auditor's best practice recommendations. So what did the auditors find? Well, they did not find fraud, no theft, and nothing unlawful, which confirms that the city's resources are safeguarded. State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick foreshadowed the audit results when he spoke back in March with KZRG on the radio, when he said, quote, "There are a handful of management issues that we'll bring to the city's attention." This audit demonstrates the high quality of our staff and leadership, particularly our finance department, which consistently follow national best practices to track the tax dollars, fees, and grants which fund our local government and how those dollars are spent. While the report includes recommendations for improving certain processes, we've already implemented most of the recommendations. These suggestions were primarily about best practices, ways to make a strong system even stronger. Now let's get into the specifics. I'm going to summarize each audit item, discuss the state auditor's recommendations, and explain how the city is responding to the recommendations by making our practices even better. The first item has to do with emergency ordinances. The state auditor recommends that the city council should refrain from using emergency ordinances unless necessary. We have already implemented the auditor's recommendations. The city has reduced the use of emergency ordinances, which are like expedited ordinances, by half since April of 2024. The city has always allowed public comment on all emergency ordinances, and we post our agendas and supporting documents in advance so citizens have the time to review them. Emergency ordinances are only used when quick action is needed, such as tearing down dangerous buildings, approving time-sensitive construction contracts, or meeting state and federal grant deadlines. The second item has to do with financial controls and procedures. There are 4 recommendations in this category. They are interconnected, so I'll first run through these before explaining the city's response to these recommendations. Recommendation 2.1 regarding user access is about the nationally recognized government accounting and budgeting software which the city uses. Specifically, the auditor recommends that users of this system should only be allowed minimum access rights necessary to perform their assigned job functions, and there should be adequate segregation of duties, and ensure documented supervisory reviews of system entries and changes. Recommendation 2.2 about receipting says the council should ensure that the finance department personnel account for the numerical sequence of receipt slip numbers for all money received. In addition, we should ensure credit card and online payments are reconciled to the credit card and online transaction records and deposits. Recommendation 2.3 says council should ensure we have adequate procedures to monitor and collect account receivables in a timely manner. Recommendation 2.4 says council should ensure monthly reconciliations are performed of utility amounts billed to amounts collected and delinquent accounts and investigate significant differences. In response to these recommendations, the city wants to be sure the public understands that our financial systems are indeed secure, tightly controlled, and follow national best practices. No improper activity was found by the auditors, and every transaction is permanently recorded, independently reviewed, and backed by multiple layers of oversight. We do segregate duties according to best practices. Every cash receipt, whether through City Hall or the Parks Department, is tracked, batched, and cannot be deleted, ensuring full accountability. In order to implement all the auditor's recommendations, independent reviews have been added, and the city is improving how it reconciles the thousands of online credit card payments received each month to make the process even stronger. The city has also stepped up enforcement of collection of accounts receivable, added staff oversight, and tied collections to the issuance of permits and licensures to ensure the debts are paid to the city in a timely manner. In addition, new tools and training are being implemented to further improve the city's ability to collect debts owed. Finally, the city now uses a streamlined reconciliation report for utility billing in addition to the monthly utility billing reconciliation process that was already in place, adding another layer of confidence in the city's financial accuracy and transparency. The state auditor's third item is regarding budgeting. Recommendation 3.1 is that the council adopt complete budgets that reflect realistic estimates for the ensuing year's activities. And recommendation 3.2 says the council should prepare necessary budget amendments in a timely manner to ensure actual expenditures do not exceed budgeted amounts. This recommendation is related to the carryover or continuation of purchase orders that are outstanding at the end of each fiscal year. The City of Joplin does follow our charter when carrying over valid obligations, like purchase orders for large projects or equipment that take multiple years to complete, such as fire trucks. These carryovers do not increase overall spending, but simply move budgeted funds into the next year, and all obligations are fully documented in the city's annual audit report. In response to the recommendation, and in order to provide an even more transparency, the city will now present an ordinance to council each year with the final amount and details of these carryovers, also known as encumbrances, once they are known. In addition, the city closely monitors its budget throughout the year and brings forward amendments throughout the year to ensure compliance with the law. Occasionally, adjustments must be made after the year end to account for required accounting entries such as depreciation or fund transfers, which are not actual spending of taxpayer dollars. The city will continue to make timely amendments during the year to maintain accuracy and accountability while still complying with the charter, which states there can be no budget violation within each fund by department. The state auditor's fourth item is about payroll and allowance procedures. Recommendation 4.1 says the council should ensure controls are in place to maintain accurate leave records and balances. 4.2 says council should review the necessity of vehicle allowances and set the allowances to reasonably reflect the actual expenses incurred by the applicable employees. The city does maintain accurate time records for all employees through signed timesheets and is now upgrading to a modern electronic time and attendance system. This system allows all leave requests to be submitted and approved electronically, strengthening oversight and ensuring full accountability, meaning the city is now implementing recommendation 4.1. Regarding 4.2, in 2020, the city reduced and standardized vehicle allowances so they only apply to department directors and a few council employees, creating fairness and cutting unnecessary costs. This allowance reflects the travel demands of these positions and saves staff time and money compared to tracking mileage reimbursements. To provide added assurance, the city will now conduct annual reviews of actual mileage to confirm the allowance remains reasonable and appropriate, in compliance with the auditor's recommendations. The fifth item from the state auditor is about the building department procedures. The recommendation is for the council to ensure building department personnel report dangerous buildings to the Building Board of Appeals as required by city code. At issue here is the fact that the city's code at the time of the audit said all dangerous buildings should be reported to the Building Board of Appeals. The city of Joplin follows state law and city code by notifying all parties when a property is deemed dangerous. Cases that go before the Building Board of Appeals are typically vacant or involve owners who have failed to make progress, with the most urgent and unsafe properties prioritized for board action. When owners are actively working with the city to repair dangerous conditions, the building department staff monitors their progress instead of sending the case to the board. To reinforce this practice, the city has updated its ordinance to ensure cooperating property owners are not penalized while they bring their properties into compliance. The sixth item is about an internal audit function, recommending that the council consider appointing an internal auditor or contracting with an independent audit firm to conduct audits of specific city operations and activities. It is important to note that the state auditor found no fraud, theft, or misuse of funds in the city's operations. While creating a separate internal audit office is not financially feasible, the city has built strong safeguards by including duties in the financial analyst position, undergoing annual independent financial audits, complying with audits from state and federal grant agencies, and commissioning outside assessments of major departments like police, fire, planning, and public works. These measures ensure accountability, efficiency, and transparency without straining taxpayer resources. The city agrees with the principle of continuous improvement and will keep reviewing internal processes to strengthen oversight. The state auditor's seventh item is about the Joplin Sports Authority. The recommendation is that council monitor and review the JSA's reports to ensure it is spending the lodging tax receipts as intended. We are already in compliance with this recommendation. The Joplin Sports Authority is a legally separate organization but operates with strong city involvement and oversight. The City Council appoints a majority of its board members. City staff and a council member actively participate, and monthly financial reports are reviewed by city finance staff. The authority undergoes its own independent annual audit, which is included in the city's comprehensive annual financial report and publicly presented to citizens. The Sports Authority was specifically designated by voters to receive hotel-motel tax funding for sports marketing, and all expenditures are approved monthly by its board. While some events require facilities outside Joplin city limits, the economic benefits flow directly back to Joplin through its hotels, restaurants, and retailers. The city believes there is a strong oversight and that residents see a clear return on investments from the Sports Authority's work. The eighth item is about minutes from the City Council closed sessions. The auditor recommends that the City Council approve the closed meeting minutes. The City of Joplin has always complied with Missouri's Sunshine Law in keeping closed session minutes. While formal approval of the minutes by council is not legally required, the City Council recognized the value of formally approving these minutes for added transparency and accountability. This best practice was adopted in 2024. The Auditor's ninth item addresses the Convention and Visitors Bureau's bidding procedures, recommending that Council ensure the CVB department follows city bidding policies. The city does require all departments, including the CVB, follow strict purchasing and bidding policies. While the CVB did obtain bids for purchases in 2023, some records could not be produced during the audit. Since then, the city has upgraded its purchasing system so that bid documents are now able to be attached electronically before a purchase can move forward. This change helps ensure full compliance, better record keeping, and greater accountability. So this recommendation has already been implemented. The 10th and final item addresses the city's electronic communication policy. The auditor recommends that council develop a written record management and retention policy to address electronic communications management and retention to comply with Missouri Secretary of State Record Services Division Electronics Communication Guidelines. The City of Joplin does follow state record retention laws and has long maintained electronic records in compliance with the Sunshine Law, successfully responding to numerous public records requests without issue. While the city believes its current practices are effective, its governing resolution on electronic records is over 20 years old. To ensure policies remain up to date with modern technology, the city will review current state guidance and update the resolution as needed, continuing its commitment to transparency and public access. In conclusion, what did I take away from the auditor's report and the extended conversation the council was able to have with the auditors is that the city is doing the right things to manage your taxpayer resources in a responsible manner. Yet we are making strong processes even stronger, as we should. We are very pleased with the outcome of this audit. We've even been told by people who work in the state auditor's office that this was a good audit. I think the public can rest assured that their city government can be trusted. Our resources are managed responsibly, our processes are sound, our staff continue to demonstrate excellence in public service. This audit report is a testament to their dedication, professionalism, and commitment to serving the community with integrity. We can now get back to the job of improving the community. We've made tremendous progress in virtually every aspect of the city, from internal organizational improvements to expanding city services to infrastructure investments and new construction developments. Together, you, the people of Joplin, and your city government are building an exciting future for Joplin.